You learned to study every face before asking for anything. You listened to footsteps, cabinet doors, the way a cup was placed on a table. You could feel the mood of a room before anyone spoke. You waited for some small sign that nothing terrible was about to change. But no one looked at you long enough to say that you were safe. No one explained that silence was sometimes only silence. That a tired face did not always mean rejection. That distance did not always mean love was disappearing. You became easy to manage. You swallowed questions before anyone could call them inconvenient. You accepted unclear answers because asking again felt dangerous. You learned to say, "It's okay," while your body remained alert. You stopped reaching for comfort directly. You approached it through perfect behavior, through usefulness, through becoming quiet at exactly the right moment. You became the child who appeared to need almost nothing, but the need remained underneath. Every achievement quietly asked whether your place was secure. Every apology asked whether closeness could continue. Every act of helpfulness asked whether you had finally become impossible to leave. You were never broken. You adapted by trying to earn the reassurance that should have been given freely. Without reassurance, closeness became difficult to trust. Warmth could feel real in one moment and temporary in the next. A kind word soothed you briefly, then created a new fear of losing it. The more someone mattered, the more carefully you watched. You noticed pauses other people ignored, a voice that sounded slightly flatter, a hand that moved away sooner than expected, a familiar expression that changed for half a second. Your body collected every detail as possible evidence. You called it overthinking, but your nervous system remembered that small emotional changes often came before distance. Hypervigilance was not a flaw in your character. It was the language you developed when reassurance could not be trusted to return. Sometimes reassurance finally arrived, but your body did not know how to keep it. A loving sentence entered and quickly vanished beneath doubt. A promise brought relief, then demanded proof again. A peaceful moment felt believable only while it was happening. Nothing stayed stored. You needed safety repeated, because the original uncertainty had also been repeated. You wondered why one kind conversation was never enough. Why affection faded so quickly inside you. Why certainty kept leaking away. But reassurance cannot become an inner voice when reassurance was never given enough time to settle. Your nervous system learned through repetition, so absence became a physical expectation. Not because you wanted to doubt love, because your body had learned that. Because your body had learned that warmth could leave without warning. Beneath the vigilance was grief. Not only for the words you never heard, for the version of you that might have rested if those words had come often enough. You might have explored without checking the room behind you. You might have made mistakes without fearing a change in love. You might have cried without first deciding whether the moment was safe. Instead, part of you remained near the emotional doorway, watching, listening, waiting to learn whether you were still welcome. It shaped the way you apologized, the way you received affection, the way you prepared for absence during moments of warmth. The wound was never simply a lack of praise. It was the absence of confirmation that your place could survive discomfort. You were never broken. You adapted. And beneath every adaptation, the child you were was still waiting to hear that love had not gone anywhere. That waiting followed you into closeness,